I taste and it's whether I like it or don't like it.
Yeah.
If I start breaking it apart and breaking it down, then I can't tell you whether I like it or not because there are a lot of different things about it.
The Fred Minnick Show is brought to you by 291 Colorado Whiskey and by Michter's American Whiskeys.
In the sunshine-laden alpine desert area of Colorado Springs, 6,200 feet above sea level, sits a distillery that became a man's second career. Michael Myers was a fashion photographer, famous for his lens finding renowned models such as Angelina Jolie and actors like Sam Elliott. Growing up in Georgia and Tennessee, educated at SCAD in Savannah, Georgia, Myers became the photographer models requested because of his southern charm. One day he was in Paris, the next in Italy. Such is the glamorous high-end fashion life. Go here, go there, always bring your camera. But that changed on 9/11. Myers' apartment was in the debris wave of the Twin Towers falling. Video and still photographs show his corner apartment clear one minute and engulfed in the clouds of dust the next. They survived, but the Myers family, like countless others, would forever be haunted of that day. New York, still very much in his heart, Myers and his family moved to Colorado, and the passion for photography slowly dimmed as the years went by. However, a taste for whiskey helped him find a new career. In 2011, the once great fashion photographer built a small still in a 300 square foot commercial basement and distilled his first drops of whiskey on September 11th. This brand would be called 291 after Myers' dorm room at SCAD and has become a beacon of joy for those who follow the brand's journey. From its humble roots to a 12,000 square foot distillery near Pikes Peak, 291's changed the way I personally view stave finishes. Their use of aspen adds an accent of wood without overpowering the whiskey, something that most definitely excites me. Today, in the newly formatted blind tasting style of the show, Myers and bar owner Lucas Frye join me to select what we think is the best 291 expression. Frye, a former college football player, owns a great bourbon bar called Cork and Cask in Colorado Springs. His nickname back then? Dr. Turkey, for his love for Dr. Pepper and wild turkey. And let me tell you something too. Lucas, he gets a little chippy. So this is going to be a fun blind tasting. So sit back, enjoy, and pour yourself some 291 as we do a 291 blind tasting. Cheers, everybody. Okay, so today on the Fred Minnick Show, we are beginning the new series of the new format of this podcast in which we blind taste our co-tasters. Our co-tasters are going to range this season from distillers to celebrities, restaurant owners, chefs. But the whole point here is that I want to bring a little bit of my kind of blind bourbon event and tasting style that I've been doing in spirits competitions for the past decade to the podcast. And joining me now is the owner of Cork and Cask, Lucas Frye.
Yeah.
Lucas Frye, good to see you.
Happy to be here.
It's good to see you, man. How are you?
Things are great. Just enjoying the start of the new year, and I'm happy to be here with Michael. And
right
on.
On.
A great time. Obviously, you. Yeah.
All right, and of course, we got Michael Myers, owner of 291. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, Fred. How are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm ready to get into some whiskey. Now, we are tasting blind some 291. We don't know what they are. They're simply A, B, and C. Now, this is that's some fancy labeling right there.
Hardcore.
And here's the thing about 291 is this actually, they've got E and M and all these different like alphabets in there. So these might actually be the name of the brand at some point.
Might be.
A, B, or C. So okay, well We obviously, the format of the show is not so much to be, breaking down, trying to figure out what it is. It's to simply, we're going to taste each one of these, and we'll talk about them. So let's go ahead and start with A. I'll pour your glasses, and so.
That to you when you're talking, and then I'll pull it to me.
So Lucas, tell me, how'd you get your start in the restaurant business?
Well, I've been in the restaurant business for 25 plus years, coming out of college, and hey, look at there.
We already have a party salad, buddy.
Knocked it over. Way to go, man.
Blame it on
Michael.
The mic situation isn't the best, but
so
we go with what we got.
We'll make do. But I started bartending out of college, and next thing I know, I'm owning a bar, and I really got into whiskey about 12 years ago.
Okay.
I was already into whiskey, but I met a few people that introduced me to the next level, and they introduced me to stuff like Van Winkle and the BTAC collections and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that there was a whole nother world out there.
Right.
And the timing was good because about 12 years ago, the whiskey craze was really getting the wheels under it, and so it just took off from there. And I found out that I had a real passion for it, and down the road, I knew I wanted to own a whiskey bar, and put it together.
How many bottles do you have in your whiskey shop?
Over 300.
That's
right now.
nice.
300 labels, yeah.
So you're the largest or one of the largest in Colorado?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And of course, we were there last night.
Yeah.
And I was trying to buy everybody a drink.
Succeeded for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, some people were in there weren't whiskey fans. They were like just drinking wine.
And that's what we do as well. We've got a fairly big wine list, so we realize that not everybody's into whiskey, but
Is it wrong? I wanted to kick them out, but how could you?
As long as they're drinking wine and not vodka, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they were cool.
Yeah,
they were actually
wine's
cool.
acceptable, but
but it was like a date kind of place.
Yeah,
it's like,
it is. It is.
Like you must be like on the Tinder hot list or something.
I'm sure we are. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. But it's a cool, sexy place, and but we're super happy with the list and how it's grown and developed over the years.
All right, Michael, we're about to blind.
They have a ton of 291 too.
They do.
And special release stuff of ours. It's really great. They've been a great support of 291, which we love.
So we're about to blind taste your stuff. Are you a little nervous here?
Never, Fred.
Yeah, okay.
Not at all.
All right.
I might be a little bit, but here we go.
All right, so let's start with glass A. As Lucas is sipping the whiskey that he spilled.
Yeah, I'll drink it off the table. I'm not proud.
Now, do you sweep up the whiskey you spill in the restaurant and give to people?
Depends, yeah. Sometimes.
Can't waste that stuff.
No.
Right? All right, we all have our processes with how we like to taste and smell, and for me, it begins with looking at the color, and these are all very rich in color, and there's that extra aspen that's going into the barrels, and I've always wondered how much color impact does that have, and then I got to see it yesterday, where there was pre-aspen. And then post-aspen, it wasn't that intense of the color. It was just a little bit, and then the flavor profile, I tasted it pre and post, and it was I always attributed certain notes to the aspen, and it was not. It wasn't the aspen. It was a very interesting experiment for me to do that.
Yeah, a lot of people think that 291's flavor profile is a lot due to the aspen stave finish, and it's not. It's a very subtle, nice note, couple of notes, but our stills are what I believe give the most flavor to our whiskey, and then the barrels.
The ones you made yourself.
The ones we made ourselves.
He made his own damn still.
Yeah, they're sexy.
I couldn't do that. If I made a still, it would be it'd be horrible. I mean, I can't even fix a garage door. I couldn't imagine what me making a still would look like. Okay, so this nose is very perfumey. It's a very perfumey nose. Kind of feel like I'm going into Von Mar to the perfume counter a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of floral.
Yeah, I agree. definitely agree with the
Okay.
floral notes. Really balanced though. Nothing.
No flaws in there.
Yeah. No. Nothing dominating one over the other. I mean, it's very.
That's the first
very
thing
nice.
I'm looking for when I'm doing in competition. I'm looking for flaws, and like you have you have a lot of things that will get through competition, and it'll smell like turpentine or something like that. None of that here. Okay, so here we go to the next part, the taste.
Clean cuts.
Oh, I like that. That's really nice. It's got like a
Boy, what's that on? Boy, that's good.
like a hazelnut and like a cocoa in there.
Definitely cocoa, almost like pralines or something like that. Or
Going down to New Orleans with little praline.
like chocolate-covered pretzel, almost for me.
Oh man, give me a bag of chocolate-covered pretzels. I mean, that's
all that's over with.
It's
right?
over right there. It goes straight to my hips.
But
Yeah,
really,
A is a
nice
contender.
finish.
It's
Really
going to be
It's
really finishing great.
I definitely think it's pretty high proof, but maybe I'm wrong. I know it's barrel proof, but it's
Yeah, I know
it drinks a lot softer than the number's going to tell us.
I know that these are your whiskeys, so there's no trick here. They didn't like slap in Knob Creek or something. So we know that going in. But I always when I have like a new taster or something, I always try to get them to break away from thinking about all the little things that might change their mindset about what the whiskey is. Instead, just focus on like which brand, and it's going to be impossible for you because you're going to be thinking what brand is this, what proof is it, but try to like practice some mindfulness here, Michael, and break away from all your preconceived notions of whatever might be in the glass.
Okay, but I kind of do that. I actually, the way I taste is Eric knows this, and I'm really fast. Eric is my head distiller, and I taste it's whether I like it or don't like it.
Yeah.
If I start breaking it apart and breaking it down, then I can't tell you whether I like it or not because there are a lot of different things about it. But if we're deciding 1, 2, or 3, or A, B, or C, I'll taste and move on and taste again and tell you which one I like.
Okay.
So that's how I taste.
I find that I'm the same way. I'm pretty quick with things. I like to pick out a few notes, but you know, I'm a rapid fire guy as well.
And I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
Get it done, and really nice entry though. On
Yeah,
this.
A is a tough one to start with because you know I kind of just want to break away and watch the sunset on the mountains behind us over there. It's a nice one, but we do got to taste B and C.
There's definitely not enough in that tasting bottle.
No,
No, absolutely not. They're
No.
gonna hammer that thing real easy.
I know.
Mine's done already.
Oh wow! You go to well, you got this. You got the stuff you can lick up off the off the table.
I've already squeegeed it a little bit. So
Yeah,
we're
I
good.
mean, you get a little extra wood note there.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that's the essence of 291.
Are you working tonight?
It might be. I might have to call in some reinforcements.
All right, so I'm going to Glass B, and it's obviously night and day for May, and it's like this is going to be one where you know, as a taster, individual preference will play in, and like you can choose, you do your best to be as objective as possible, but B I think can be a little polarizing. Because you know, A, well, it's got a lot of those cocoa notes that you like, the hazelnut. You get to B, it's a little bit more funky Comedina.
Yeah, it's a little. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around this one. Not sure about this.
Softer.
Yeah, very much more subtle on the nose.
Yeah, not
See,
as
this
floral.
This
but
is funk to me. This has got some funk going on up in here. Did you ever listen to Funky Comedina?
Of course. I mean,
The Tone Loc, right?
yeah.
Funky Comedina.
Boy, much softer, sweeter for me. But in a good way. I could drink the hell out of this real quickly. Like, the first one's what's more complex, but this is, it's good.
Eric, are you over there blind tasting as well, or do you know what you're tasting? I know what they are. Okay.
So we actually have an audience right now. The 291 folks are over there ignoring all their conference calls and emails just to see what's going on here.
Better get a hold of that. They're on the clock right now, right?
I know.
They're not doing anything, right? They're burning up the labor.
No, they're doing exactly what they should be doing.
You guys kind of have a podcast going right where we were.
Okay.
Oh, excuses, right?
Yeah, right.
He said we're podcasting right where he works. Yeah. So as you do like a ranking, right? You go like instantly if you like one over the other, and I'm just in love with A so much that I personally, while B is very drinkable, I'm saying in my head I'm already just moving it to the side of A because A was so good.
I'll agree with that. I mean, we're splitting hairs here. B's drinkable and really nice. It's just softer, a little less floral. So C, I'm interested in what C is going to be like.
Let's see what C brings, but A and I are going.
A is really good.
A and I might be dating later.
Might be hitting the man here for some more of that.
Oh, you need some more? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, let's do it. Win in Rome.
Oh, that's your.
Yeah, you already
Michael's already trying to steal a C
stealing
here.
Stuff. I'm spilling it. He's stealing it.
Interesting. Like a seashell kind of brininess up in here.
Yeah, a little salt.
Yeah.
Got butterscotch.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Scotch drinkers will love this. C has like it's obviously it's not peat, but it has like a hickory smoke to it that I really dig, and it's got like this brininess, like the inside of an oyster shell. Kind you would find in a lot of like champagnes. C is definitely a contender.
I agree.
C is a contender.
They're just really different.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are a big disparity between the three. Really good, though. I'm trying to wrap my head around this one, too. This one's definitely sea salt. And now you said briny. I mean, you plant that in my head, but it's good. Really nice entry and balanced.
And this is why whiskey drinkers, bourbon drinkers, you should be tasting outside of your comfort zone, because if you've never had like a particular grower champagne, you're not going to understand that note. Like alcohol produces a lot of different flavor profiles through the yeast, through the base, whether it's corn or it's a grape, or the barrel has an impact, and the environment of which it's like aged will have an incredible impact as well. And C is one of those where if you are a diverse sipper on things, you recognize that brininess. But if you're not accustomed to drinking outside of the bourbon world, you're going to miss out on what that brininess flavor is.
Yeah, and that briny note on the nose is so fresh and really clean, oyster brine. I really like that note.
Yeah, it's definitely unique. You don't get a ton of whiskeys that are, at least in my experience, present like this. I mean, it's really interesting and really fun.
So as we go to try to figure out who's the champion here, I think it's definitely between C and A. And I think let's just any comments on A before we kind of dive in and do our thing.
I'm still leaning on A. I think A for me is by a smidge.
So A has the most legs and oil stain on the glass. So for me, that tells me that's an older 291. And I may be totally wrong and talking out of my ass, but
Congener City.
yeah, and I love that about my whiskey. My whiskey, the glass is always completely dirty at the end of drinking it, and got to have a little dirt
So
to be
it's
good.
like going to a. Should you start targeting strip clubs now with your whiskey? I mean, could that be a thing?
Sure. I mean, I don't know if they spend the money on the whiskey or the girls. I don't go to strip clubs, so I don't know.
I'm just saying, like they spend a lot of money on stuff there. So my Pittsburgh event, that by the time this airs, it'll already have happened. I announced it, and I had like strip clubs reaching out to me, like, "Hey, can you come to have your after party with us?"
Perfect.
I mean, why not?
I'm not a strip club guy.
Me either. Not at all. Casino, I'll play roulette and drink really nice whiskey.
Wait, you gamble?
I like to gamble.
Little
Roulette,
action.
just roulette.
You play roulette. That's like the worst odds ever.
Yeah, and Philip and I crush it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've witnessed it.
Wow.
It's funny.
Yeah, I've been there for the madness.
I mean, I've lost a lot of money playing roulette. Don't get me wrong. I'm not rich from playing roulette.
Do you
I'm not
like?
rich, period.
Do you make sure that you don't have the deeds to any of your properties or anything like that when you go, or?
Yeah, exactly. I definitely do not have the title to my black truck when I go play roulette.
Or that beautiful old Dodge either. That's a beautiful old truck.
Yeah, that's a good looking truck. Runs well too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when it
yeah.
So about you? You strip club guy?
You know what? I have to admit, yeah.
You go to strip clubs?
Yeah, I haven't been lately, but yeah, it's.
Okay.
I'm not afraid to dabble. Yeah, it's why not?
All right. Are you going to get in trouble for saying that?
No,
Okay.
not at all. You gotta, like I say, you gotta put some girls through college a little bit. Donate. So yeah, it's okay.
You're just trying to support their education.
Yeah, that's right.
All
just
right.
buy some books for them, every now and then, and just support them.
I'm going back to.
Gotta make a living, right?
I'm going back to sea. And I love. It's becoming complex to me. And the briny note. I'm going back to like this.
sea.
Yeah, the sea salt chocolate kind of now. It's like.
Yeah,
But
letter C. I just had another taste of it, and I like A a lot. I mean, they're so close, but C is just really pretty to me. It was a little hot at first, and it's not as hot. It's opened up for me.
And these are 291s that are available. A, I think, is if you are a traditional bourbon drinker or rye drinker, I think A is going to be your jam. I think it is big, bold, all over your palate, kind of curling up underneath your tongue a little bit. B is a good sipper, but C to me is like this. I want to get some more in there, but C is this. It just changes in the glass, and there's a complexity to that. I keep going to this brininess. But I'm gonna make my decision based on how long it finishes. So I'm gonna do a taste test between both of them, and kind of count the finish in my head, and because they're equal in parts, points of the palate, nose, all that stuff. So A and C are very equal for me, very different flavors. So I'm just gonna make a decision based on finish.
Yeah, that briny note, and then the front of your palate, it's really sweet, really pretty. But I agree, A and C are really equal, just different notes, different palate. People with a palate that likes a certain type's going to go for A, and a certain type's going for C. And I mean, okay, B, we're just leaving it out, but it's really good too.
Yeah, the problem with B is, it's not really a problem. It's just it's so much more subdued. In a good way. I don't want to be critical.
I'm a critic, so
yeah,
it's okay.
But
You can.
I don't want to be too harsh.
You're on this table here for a reason.
Yeah, B is. I mean, God, you could drink the hell out of B. It's one of those that you can. Next thing you know, you're 4 or 5 glasses in. Real easy.
Dropping dollar bills.
Yeah, why not? I'm still leaning on A.
Well, C's finish knocks out A for my palate. If it's a preference game, what I would sip, what I would like to have by the fire with the cigar, it's going to be A. But I think when you assess whiskeys, and that's part of being on a tasting panel, you take out your preconceived biases, and I think I would be personally drinking A. But in terms of what won the tape on the palate, beat everything on the palate in terms of the finish and some of the qualities to it, I think C wins. But it's a tight one. But I'm going to go C A B. You're going A B C.
No, A C.
A C B.
Yep, ACB.
So you're the tiebreaker of your own whiskey.
I'm the same. C A B.
Okay, so now
I'm in your boat, Fred.
So C is the champion. First, let's see what B was. That was the unanimous third place finisher here.
I'll make it easier.
Oh, okay. All right. Here, just throw it to me.
That's
B?
That's C? I mean B?
That's B?
B. High rye.
Wow. We were
I
all
was
like,
drinking the hell out of that the other night.
this is not that high in
That's why
proof.
it's so balanced. That bourbon's really balanced.
Wow.
And soft. So that's the 291 mistake.
Oh, never mind. I was going to
That's
say
the
like me.
291 mistake
I would-
whiskey.
I was
the accident?
I was a mistake for my parents. So, I mean.
So
wrong?
Eric Jett was freelance distilling for me.
All right.
It's probably his first mash in, or at least the first bourbon mash in. And he came in and he asked me something, and I said, well, it's this much rye. And so he mashed in, put it in the fermentation, pitched yeast, came up, and he was looking at the numbers, and he's like, Michael, the numbers don't match up. What's up? And I'm like, you doubled the rye. And he's like, well, you told me to. And I'm like, oh, I did, didn't I? And so we ran it, and it came off the still, and was really balanced and really pretty. And it's HR for high rye bourbon.
Okay.
It is a bourbon, but it's a high.
So it's HR. I initially thought it was human resources.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people do. We're hoping that
you're a big fan. I was
a lot of human resource people start buying it just because it's their bourbon.
Funny story for you. Prior to me making it in bourbon, I was covering all kinds of stuff in addition to bourbon. One of my beats was retail technology for a magazine called Stores, and I was covering this HR retail technology convention, and it was like we were all breaking for lunch. And we're in Florida. They had an amazing bourbon selection for really cheap. And I saw they had I think it was like a Russell's pick, like a Russell's Reserve pick. I was like, I'll have a Russell's pick, neat. And I'm with all of these HR executives. They're looking around at who they can turn me into, for whom they can turn me into, because I'm drinking on the clock. I'm like, oh wait, this is what I do. Oh, that's right. This is an HR convention. That was an awkward convention.
I bet. So the proof on this is 128.2.
Yeah.
You would have never.
Which you would never guess.
No,
that.
I would
didn't
not
come
guess
close
that.
to that.
No, I didn't
Not
feel
even
that
close.
way. So coming in like a really strong second, Lucas's number one was A. Let's see what we got with A. Bring it on down, Eric. Woo!
Hey, there we go.
Barrel proof.
That's a different barrel proof. So you'll have to. The actual proof is 137.5.
So this is the whiskey. This is a different barrel, but the what we're drinking is 137.5 proof.
Okay.
A.
I think we could have guessed that one.
Yeah.
On the proof.
Almost a has been.
Yeah, I mean it was big and Big
Old.
and big and beautiful.
Yeah.
So that is Colorado, my whiskey. That is what I set out to make. I didn't pick it, but big, bold, beautiful, rugged, refined, rebellious.
Your trademark.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, makes an amazing black Manhattan.
Okay.
And just drinking it neat.
Are you a cocktail guy, Lucas?
You know what? I'm not, but hands down, my favorite cocktail is a Vucare.
Oh, okay.
You know, when a well-made Vucare for me is money.
Lucas has a nickname.
Oh. who gave it to him?
Dr. Turkey.
Yeah.
Emily.
Oh.
Emily, who does all our PR stuff and social and sells barrels out of the tasting room, all that kind of stuff. But Emily told us Dr. Turkey because in college
in college, Wild Turkey and Dr. Pepper was my thing. And I grew up, my dad drank Wild Turkey, and I just was one of the first bourbons I was ever around. But the main reason I drank Wild Turkey, I mean, I liked it. Mm-hmm. But I could bring a bottle of Wild Turkey to a house party, and none of those college kids would touch it. They were all scared to death of it. So I could leave it there. I didn't have to tote it around. I mean, you bring a bottle of Jack Daniels to a party, that thing's gone in 5 minutes. I just leave it there, and, one of those, sissy kids, would touch it. So I was just, it was always a matter of practicality for me. But then it just kind of it evolved into something a little bit more. But that's where that came from. A lot of wild turkey in college.
and then his palate grew up.
Yeah.
Well, turkey.
I know.
Turkey's good
I love
stuff.
turkey.
You're a turkey guy.
I love turkey, yeah.
It's a rye bourbon. So
Yeah, it's good whiskey.
it is good whiskey.
So our pick of the day was C. Let's find out what C was.
Yeah, I'm curious to know what this is.
The bourbon.
It's a single barrel bourbon, 133 proof,
Barrel proof, single barrel, 130.
138.7, 07.
No, that's the P.
Oh, that's the P. Yeah. Okay, 137 proof. So you're going to be picking a barrel here pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excited. Yeah.
Have you picked a 291 barrel before?
No.
Well,
I have not.
Get your liver ready.
Yeah. It's game on. I know.
Get your liver ready.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
I got a good night's sleep. I knew what was coming today.
I picked. I think we picked 7, 8 yesterday, and it was great. It was great. But they'll pull batches, the barrels from like the exact same field day. They've been sitting next to each other. It's amazing how different they are.
It's amazing. Just the three here are really, really different.
Yeah.
I mean, they are off the rails different.
Yeah. Well.
So last night we were at the Broadmoor, finished the night having sidecars at the hotel bar, which is amazing. They make them a really nice sidecar, but with barrel proof. We're finishing the night drinking barrel proof sidecars. I had one and I was done.
You were
I
done.
was like sitting there staring off the space, half asleep, but not really asleep.
Yeah, it was. I didn't finish mine. I was like, it's time for. I got a rule. I've been in this business for a long time because I try to hold to this rule. Don't ever be out past midnight. Don't ever be out past midnight.
Yeah, funny how that works when you get a little older, right?
Yeah. It's like there's, especially when you're out without the kids.
Yeah.
And it's like I would trade anything for a full 8-9 hours sleep.
Yeah, that's the beauty of getting a little older. You get a little wiser and realize day drinking's better. It's just better. You get that full 8 hours.
Well, this was a great first time to do this, to do the blind ranking. I wonder if you would have saw these products, Michael, is this how you thought we would have ranked them?
That's a hard question. Knowing what they are, it makes sense about how we talked about them, actually. But I'm biased to the Colorado, so I probably, if I looked at them and knew that my flagship, the Colorado whiskey, was A, I might have leaned that way. But I mean, really, C is a really pretty whiskey. It's just bourbon. It's a little softer than the rye. And like you said, you know, it had that briny note that was really nice. That's really different.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's what makes whiskey win, or anything, is that little extra difference, that good difference. In anything from, you know, that's the 1/10 of a second faster skiing or whatever. That different note makes you go, this is really good and different. And so that's how it wins. You know, as a photographer, best picture wins, and that could be a shift in a finger or something like that in a picture that you just don't realize, and it makes the picture better. You know that. You were a photographer and journalist.
Long time ago.
Yep.
I have hung up the hat. Don't do it anymore. Because you know why? You can't make a fucking living shooting pictures anymore.
No. I have an iPhone.
I know, right? It's unbelievable. But that's going to do it. Thanks for joining me, gentlemen. Cheers.
Oh, thank you.
You know,
Cheers.
I think we got some barrels to pick now.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Thank you very much, Fred.
Absolutely.
Enjoyed you being here.
Yeah.
291. It's been a good time, and
Absolutely.
really appreciate everything you do for us, and hanging out with you and drinking whiskey. We telling stories always from day one. Love it with you. So thank you.
And hopefully my liver survives picking your barrel.
Yeah.
So,
We'll make it.
We'll make
And
it.
also,
make it.
I appreciate your wife for allowing you to be out here and, you know, traveling.
She's pretty cool.
Because you have kids. I understand that. I did all that.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot for them at home. And
Nice
so,
plug there, buddy.
Yeah.
Nice.
She, by the way, she would love to be here. She's a big whiskey head.
Okay. Well, of course.
Loves her some whiskey.
Yeah.
So,
You're not going to marry a woman that likes vodka.
you know, it's funny how that worked
Really?
out. Yeah, it's
Oh.
funny. No, she does. She does not like vodka. No, she was a whiskey connoisseur before me. I was a whiskey drinker, and when I mean drinker, I fucking drank it. You know what I'm saying? When I was in Iraq, I had people send me bottles of whiskey, you know, poured in Listerine. I drank, you know, we'd be out in the deer woods, be drinking straight from the bottle. You know, I didn't know what tasting was until I met my wife. So,
Interesting.
cheers, boys.
Cheers.
cheers.
Oh, I'm done.
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
There you
Whoops. I got a little
go.
drop.
Get in there.
Here we go.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Vodka sucks.